Welcome to yet another video. This should be maybe the most exciting part of a build to date. It rained a little bit, so I covered everything. Get all this stuff off. I may use this water tank. I don't know, we'll see how that fits in, if at all. But again, it too much time on my hands and got thinking even more. So a couple more changes for the better. So about the toilet, I'm not going with a conventional, I don't know if I mentioned that. I forget. Anyway, I'm going with a compost toilet. That'll save a whole bunch of plumbing and prep work. And the goal is to not make any holes in the envelope. I want it absolutely as tight as possible for heating purposes. The other thing is, I was going to do a mini split, but if it's going to be off-grid, for that purpose, it takes a huge amount of power still, comparatively. If you were plugged into an outlet somewhere, that wouldn't be as big a deal. But a solar generator power station, the one that I have, it would run a mini split for maybe 2 hours, and then the battery's dead. You can buy expansion packs, and I'm still looking into that, but I'm not sure that we can do that. If nothing else, I'm going to use a propane heater, and then the power station, the solar power station, will run everything else in the house, I think. Anyway, we need to uncover this. We're going to build some walls today. Try to get some of the water off of this plastic. It's supposed to be a hot one today. 77 degrees. Oh, this is going to be big. It's going to be big for a tiny house. I've marked out these two plates, top and bottom plate. Kaya agrees. She's all right with that. So, mini split, propane. It's going here, whichever one I do, and I'm still vacillating. Oh, that's a big word. I like that. I don't know which one I'm going to do. Right now I'm leaning towards the propane, just for power purposes. Okay, so the shower is definitely, I think, going here. So we need to mark this out. Usually I put the corner studs, the interior corner studs in later. This is what I've always heard it called as a California corner. And I'll show that later when we get to framing that. So one there. And again, we're going 2-foot centers for studs. So now I'm allowing for the rough end for the shower. So I came in 3.5 inches, which is the thickness of this wall. It's going to be a 32-inch shower, and I'm going to allow half an inch play to get it in here, and then I can shim it and whatnot. So that's to that point, 32.5. Then the thickness, this will be the plumbing wall, so it'll be a 2x4. So that's 3.5. So there'll be a stud there. It's going to be 2 studs. Me and another one. Right? Yes. Yeah. Okay, we'll put one here. Then one will be over here. square. I always hear that. How is a triangle a square? Maybe you don't always. I guess if you're in the office, you don't hear that. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. Okay. And the studs, they are 2 foot on center. This is where it gets to the critical part. Let's see. So I had drawn on the floor the stud wall. From here, oh, the kitchen sink's going to be here. I'm planning a 3 foot kitchen base cabinet. I think I'll probably just make my own. So if that's 3 feet, the cabinet, half of that is 18. So I'd like to hug it. I'm going to use a smaller sink. I'm going to come back a foot to the center of the sink. So that would be right there. And no, there's a window going over this. I'll be able to put the sink in wherever I want it. It's a 2 foot wide. Let me go verify that. Hold on. The RO for the window, rough opening, is 24 inches. The window itself is 23.5. It's a slider to match the big windows that's going here that will be sliders. The rough opening, 2 feet. And I'll allow for the jack and another 1.5 inches for the king stud. Marked with an X and a J. Oh, window already. Wow. So now to be consistent so that when we put the sheathing on, we want to maintain 2 foot centers so the sheets will end on a stud. So that's right at 4 feet right there. So there will be a, down low, there will be a cripple. People always thought we were kind of mean when we said, you know, if you're trying to adjust that cripple, you say, hit that cripple. And wow, that sounds mean. Okay. And the next stud will be out here. This is another place where it gets interesting. I don't normally stop. I usually mark them all out and then I draw my lines. But I'm kind of working through this one as I go. Okay, what I want to look at is the window I have. The rough opening is 7 feet. That's huge. It's a big window. It's going to be so nice. It'll let so much light in. Especially during the winter, there'll be so much solar gain from that window, this window. And both sides slide so that they open, so you can get good cross ventilation. Okay. So overall length that we have left over is about 10 feet. I think I need to start that big window here, because that's only going to leave 3 feet down on that end for a closet or something like that. So I guess that's what we're doing. Let's go 7 feet. Did I mention that's going to be a big window? Oh, oh. Whoa, 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 jack stud, buddy boy. Get carried away. Seven feet, and that's to the inside of the jack stud, and a king stud. So we've defined where that window is going to be. Now we have to make sure again that we have the cripples, and those will only be on the bottom plate because the top is going to have a built-up header. So 6 feet, that's perfect. 8 feet, 10 feet, Hold back 3/4. I did, yep. 14. And one on the end. All right, we'll draw the rest of the lines on that. There, now I can count, see how many studs I need for that. And then we'll start fitting things in. This header, well, I'll show you that in a minute once we actually get framing. It's going to be a little different. I'm going to build the window header out of laminated plywood. I'm trying to maintain as little, I want to gain as much height as I can for placing the window up high, because I wanted to bring some sort of a cabinet underneath the window. So rather than a 2x6, I'm going to cut a bunch of strips of plywood, glue it, and nail it. Ring shank nails. Super solid. I need 3.5 inches. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7 of these that I need. I remember a number of years ago, a long time ago, 15 years ago, when they were just coming out with cordless, I had bought one, and it would not even cut a full 8-foot rip of 1/2 inch plywood. We'll see what it does. It says this battery's fully charged. I wonder if it'll cut all of them. Well, it was starting to die, but it did 6 rips. That's pretty good. Okay, I have this beam all made up. Hoping to just not even climb up on the much on here. I think I can use this just like a framing table all the way around. And that's going somewhere in there. Okay, top plate header for the window located right here. So the header, the rough opening is 7 feet, but you have to allow, with the header, you have to allow another 1.5 inches on each side to catch the jack stud coming up. Otherwise you'd be in trouble. I probably already am. Steady. There we go. Nice. Okay, now we can bring the studs all the way up through. I think I'll make this window unit all as one and then put it on here. This is going to be the kitchen window. I've already nailed this stud on the edge. The rough opening is 24 by 24. So when you add jack studs on each side, you lose 3 inches. So you have to make the header part 3 inches more than what the rough opening is. So all I did here was a 2x4 on the flat and 2 on edge. It leaves a little 1/2 inch space here, and I'm fine with that. Another little thing, in framing, I always try to hide the wane to the inside if I can, when it's going to have something else nailed up to it. This is going to have a jack stud nailed on there. Just gives you a fuller catch for whatever you're nailing on for sheathing or finished product. So I've cut 3 pieces. These are for the sides. This is for the sill. This is the kitchen window, by the way. So I've got quite a bit of wane there. Going to leave that to the inside so I have a nice smooth surface for the window. It's important to make sure you get those tight, because if you lose the 1/8 inch, it can compound going down just in framing, so that it's hard to get your window square or door, whatever you're building. Sill. I usually nail 1 through here and 2 this way. Then whoever wants to remodel later, they have a hard time pulling it apart. Should be, the window is 24, I hope it is, 24, 24, good. Okay, now you can do the jack studs all the way down, or the cripples. I usually wait, you could figure it out ahead of time, but I usually do them after everything's nailed together and make sure they're the same. 48 and 13. 48 and 13. 2 of those, please. Well, that's kind of sad. I had to take 48 and 13 16ths. Means you can't get 2 out of 1 8-foot stud. But I'll save the cutoff for elsewhere. Nice. 500 pounds of nails. Okay, there'll be another cripple in here, I'm sure. Somewhere, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, there will. Okay, so I'm not going to nail this one onto the header yet, onto the top plate, I mean. And I'll show you why. I want to nail this stud on first, because if I put the window here, I can't get in here to nail it. Pretty basic little thing, but it saves time thinking ahead about things like that. Perfect. Okay, now we can nail the rest of the studs on. I think this wall is going to be heavy. Kenny, don't wimp out on me. So these window jacks, the rough opening is actually 48 inches, so I was able to get 2 out of a stud. Yeah. This is the sill. And again, I made it the same length as the header. I hope. Yep. And I'll put the wane facing away from the inside of the window opening. What a beautiful, beautiful, it's summer, spring day, I don't know which it is. Okay, bottom plate. And here we go. Again, I'm putting the wane against another stud. can see this chalk line again. So I'm going to pull that to the line. Well, it's got to go that way just a tad. That was 2 tads. Tad and a third. I want to just be able to, I want to see just barely the chalk line. And again, I'm toenailing through so that it comes out right here, hopefully, so that it creates a hinge. So when I tip the wall up, it'll stay straight and hopefully won't slide off. Curious how heavy this is going to be. A little more framing in it than the first wall. Good. All right. And I put Kaya in just for a minute in case the wall does fall over. Ouch. Come on there. Just want to get a block under there. Makes it a lot easier to pick it up. I think I have everything set. I have the supports for when I tip it up. Got the nail gun, got hammers. All I need is Chad and Dan. This shouldn't be too bad, right? Oh yeah. Oh, piece of cake. Okay, it's not on the line. So it's a little awkward, actually. It's wanting to tip out. Working alone. Okay, so it's good on this end. See? A little bit. Not sure why it pulled away from the wall so much. Perfect. I want to point out a common mistake in framing. So I've obviously already cut these. But when you mark out for 2-foot centers for sheathing on the outside is typically how it's done. You have to start from here, but this is off 3.5 inches. So if you just started from here and marked it at 2 feet, you're going to be off 3.5 inches. And when you get to the other end, you'll be off even further. So you have to start out here, come over 24, and then 3/4 of an inch over, and that's where the stud will be, all the way across. Just wanted to point that out. Going up. All right. And wall number 4, where there's a door. Okay. Normally I don't just do little, I usually run this all the way across and then cut it out after the fact. But just to save lumber. I'm doing it this way. Okay, fourth wall is framed. And it's a lot lighter than that second wall. Okay. So this side, this wall is actually out a little bit. I'm going to have to put a pipe clamp and draw that in, but for now I can nail this to this wall. Then I'll nail it to the floor once I tighten it up. Okay, that drew that in. And I have 38 1/4 is what they asked for. So now I can just move this in or out. Walls are done. Woohoo! This gives you a pretty good view of that 4 foot by 7 foot window. I'm going to have to get reinforcements to put that in. It's over 100 pounds. Here we are. Tiny house. What do you think, Kaya? You like it? I've only slid the deck out maybe a couple of feet. This gives you an idea of the size of this window. Boy, what a pretty view. Yeah. And then a kitchen slider. That'll work really well when someone's at a kitchen washing dishes or whatever, they can see. As well as I'm hoping to have a bit of like a workbench here for whatever at somewhere around window height. And then of course the bathroom back here, washer dryer, Murphy bed. That's going to be cool. Okay, hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Hey, let's go check out the chickens. You want to do that? Here we go. Will you just look at my green thumb? Wow, everything's growing great. Yellow summer squash, slicing cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, super sweet tomatoes, a plant, peppers, bush early girl, woohoo, tomatoes, celery and head lettuce, another thing of celery, onion, green onions, gypsy broccoli, cauliflower, mountain merit tomatoes, and peppers. We got some yellow peppers too. Okay, all right. Let's just back up, rewind just a little bit and take a look at this. Well, all of a sudden my greenhouse, my green thumb is showing up. Oh. I wish I could say I started all these, but I got them from some good friends of ours, the Summerses down at Summers Farm in West Barnet, Vermont. I was told to be really careful with these because they're like little straws that would just break right off easy, so I have to be careful with them. Set them in here. So Kathy had told me I better water these because she hadn't watered them today. Ooh, yeah. This just gave us a quick jump start on our garden, so I like that. They are pretty comical to let out first thing in the morning. Morning, girls. There's Helen. Oh, Queen Clarice. Lily. Come on, Mia. I'll back up so they can come out. checking it out, Queen Clarice? Wow, they're all coming up to see you folks. If I go over near them, they'll jump.